And with the G20 presidencies, it's almost like living a little bit in the past, in the present, and in the future. And of course, that's reflected here at the F20, because of course we're in Italy now, in Milano now, and of course the G20 is going to be at the end of next month in Rome. Then we had already had a look at Indonesia, but let's have a look at where F20 was having their big partner in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia last year, and that was the King Khalid Foundation. Yesterday we had the introduction by Princess Nouf, and today we are actually going to have as the last speaker in our row of absolutely fantastic speakers of foundations, Natasha Matic, who's actually been working as the Chief Strategy Officer of the foundation for the past 13 years. So quite intimate knowledge. The question is, Natasha, where do you want to go in view of the question today? How shall we marry the two aspects of SDGs and the climate challenge?
Thank you, Connie, and thank you to my colleagues at F20, Klaus and Stefan, for including me in this forum. It's a privilege to be here with everybody. What I'm going to do, and I think it's a appropriate thing at the end here as the last speaker, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into an issue that was mentioned many, many times in the last 2 days, and that's partnerships. Multi-stakeholder partnerships, alignment, and collective impact for the 2030 agenda. We all talk about them all the time, but they're still rare and they're still not very as effective as they should be. So today, in the midst of the pandemic, the urgency to shift the trillions and come up with breakthrough solutions for the overall 2030 agenda has reached unprecedented levels. So we're now more aware than ever that government entities are ill-prepared and resourced and lack the agility to support the wide variety of services and efforts critical for finding solutions to all of our pressing issues. On the other hand, increasingly, the private sector is becoming engaged in the philanthropic and sustainability efforts more and more in order to bridge the financing and innovation gaps. And on the other hand, philanthropists and civil society are struggling to find lasting solutions, and in many cases struggling to survive in the past 2 years. So neither the governments nor the private sector nor philanthropists can tackle environment, poverty, unemployment, food shortages, lack of financing, or any other issues alone. So we need breakthrough solutions and significant intentional systems change. And this is specifically true for emerging markets and developing countries. But how do we do this when many of the stakeholders don't speak the same language or don't even speak with each other? And many times they all have different agendas. They operate in silos and often see each other as competition rather than possible partners. In my view, current problems call for a new generation of multi-stakeholder partnerships, joining forces to de-risk emerging technologies, accelerate the innovation cycle, generate the demand that's needed to bring solutions to scale, and provide innovative financing models. Working in alignment, sometimes even with non-intuitive partners, is the essential element of resiliency, success, and impact. So the rise of systems change, which has been mentioned many times here, is also one of the positive forces behind the increase in collaborative thinking. Communities are increasingly recognizing that social challenges do not exist in a vacuum, and they won't be solved by one sector or one institution or one project. So the question is, what role can philanthropists play in all of this? In my view, they can be a catalyst to nudge all the stakeholders out of their silos and encourage multi-stakeholder partnerships. I think philanthropists can pioneer innovation and help transition scientific breakthroughs faster from labs to economy. They can help investors and markets by de-risking and new financing models or new solutions. And they can share successful models across the globe. And the reason why philanthropy can do this is because philanthropy can take more risk than others, than private sector or the government. It is a source of risk capital that can foster a new funding environment, an environment that better enables relationship building, boosts accountability, reduces the politics and red tape, and introduces a sizable and stable influx of capital. But all too often, philanthropists are reluctant to embark on joint efforts because of the perception that their contributions or recognition could be diluted or diminished. In some cases, philanthropists are convinced that they know best and that engaging partners is simply not worth the effort. One often hears sentiments like, oh, governments are bureaucratic and they will slow us down, or business don't really care about social impact or environment. These kinds of complaints are most likely the outcome of parties' lack of knowledge or experience on how to partner effectively. There are very few good role models out there, especially in the emerging markets. So the key question becomes how to approach partnerships. Well, it starts like any other project with a well-defined and agreed upon problem we're all trying to solve. Then we identify who are the stakeholders and what role they can play, what are the primary obstacles, and what is the partnership's contribution, and what are the metrics to assess project success and impact. And finally, building trust and communication. I cannot stress enough that how effective regular communication and transparency among partners is key. So no doubt, partnerships are hard. Expect the delays, rough spots, and misunderstanding, and prepare for them, always keeping in mind that collaboration offers numerous benefits. So governments can gain access to much needed additional capital and social innovation. Businesses are able to align profit with purpose, improve their practices, and attract new talent, while nonprofit organizations and grant makers have an opportunity to gain access to even more funding and more expertise, pilot new solutions, and align with national development policies. So at the end, we must shift our mindsets from competitive advantage to collaborative advantage. And it takes an effort, but I think it's a win-win for all. Thank you so much.
Natasha, thank you very much. With that, with a big thank you, we actually come to the end of the keynote part of this afternoon's session.